doesn't have to worry about tires overheating or degrading faster. He can now push like an absolute stab rat. Oh my goodness gracious me. Hello guys, Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another installment of Career Mode on F1 24. And guys, we just did a sprint weekend, and because I chose the calendar as very sophisticated as I usually do, by the way, that's sarcasm, we're doing another sprint race, so hence again the frickin' long video, which I do apologize for, but it is what it is, ne? But guys, heading into the episode, one of the new career mode features, we've got a secret meeting that another team will, because another team wants to speak with us. I don't know who they are, but so far, thanks to the quali glitch, or well, the inconsistent quali performance by the AI that they're so weak, our results have been above average. So we're going to see what happens in this wonderful little episode. First of all, we need to choose our goals for this up-and-coming race weekend for the Miami Grand Prix. And yeah, we're going to take it from here and see what we can get going for ourselves. Now guys, heading into this episode, after a sprint race win and an insane battle back up the field on a very weird two-stop strategy back at China. By the way, if you haven't checked out the previous episode, make sure to go check it out before you see this one. It was a banger. Oh my word. From literally the intro of that video till the outro, that was just a banger weekend. But in any case, we are in this episode, and you guys can see I'm still just like figuring out these insane menus and sub-menus that you get in the career mode. There's so many stuff to check out, but this is what we're going to be checking out now. So we are one RTG point away from Logan Sargent, and then our next goal is Guan Yu Zhou. Now, for those of you guys that don't remember, we actually only set an RTG, I think, of 75 by the end of the season. And so far, we're very good on track and ahead of the curve so far. But before we talk about that, we have been approached by Mercedes. Who you guys want to get rid of? Hamilton or Russell? Because I know Lewis is off to Ferrari, but in this virtual world, we don't know if he's going to Ferrari. And currently, Russell is doing better in the championship than good old Lewis. So, guys, I'm going to continue talks because this is a very interesting plot twist very early in our career mode journey. So we're going to continue the talks. We'll hear back from Mercedes in the future. But that's big. That's big. In any case, so we set our RTG goal by the end of the season to be 75. And like I said, we're very much on track to not just hit that, but to surpass that. I think we after we surpass Logan, we can definitely aim for Zhou. I don't think that's too far-fetched. If we fail it, but we're above 75, still a good goal to be reached. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. So let's get straight into this. So the performance chart heading into this weekend. Red Bull is still, according to paper, the fastest car with McLaren P2. Mercedes have now jumped up to P3 with Aston P4. Ferrari moving down to P5. We are in the middle of nowhere in between all the other teams in P6. Then Williams P7, Alpine P8, Haas P9, and Kick Sauber is in P10. But at this stage, it looks like we might catch Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston Martin quicker than we thought. Unless those teams have got an ultimate upgrade hidden under the blanket, if you guys know what I mean. So it's still a long season. This is only the third round of the 16-round season. And I think there is quite a significant break in between this race and the next one. So the other teams might be able to upgrade massively in comparison to us. But we'll see how it goes. So on our side, we've got two minor aero upgrades that we want for the car, the Venturi tunnels and the winglets over the front wheels. We want to get that sorted. And then Yuki has got a chassis upgrade for cable assembly and durability.
Welcome back to Miami and welcome to qualifying. Only raw speed will separate these drivers today, but the question is, who's got what it takes to get pole?
We're diving straight into the thick of things. And guys, this quali session was extremely sketchy. It was raining, but the track wasn't wet enough for inters, but it was also extremely greasy for slicks. Out in SQ1, Sprint Quali 1, is Ocon, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Zhou, and Sargent. And here you guys can see the end of my second lap in Sprint Quali 2. The car is just so unstable, and in these conditions, I know the AI are majorly overpowered. And before I recorded this episode, the latest patch did come out, so the quali glitch might have been fixed. I'm not certain. We'll see as the video progresses. But at this stage, I was very much concerned to be knocked out because my first lap was not the best. So we're going out for our second lap, and we are up on our time. It's just. It's not what it's supposed to be. The time we need to beat to 1:34.2, and as we come towards the line, we are in P12. Oh my word! And for the first time this season, Yuki outqualifies us by 2.5 tenths actually. So it's a reasonable gap. That it's not the end of the world, but I mean, usually he's the one out in the earlier qualifyings and not himself. So we've got some work to do in the sprint race, but Yuki's through to Q3. And I'm out in Q2 is Albon, myself, Russell, and Piastri. That's massive. Two of the big hitters are out in Q2, as well as Magnussen.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long and expected average speeds of 138 miles an hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Hamilton, Sainz, Stroll, Tsunoda, Gasly, Albon, O'Connor, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Zhou, and Logan Sargent. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. I don't want to, but we should look at their recent performances, and I think poor is a universal word to describe them. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Oh my goodness gracious me, the commentators did not want to stop talking in that little segment. But here we are. It's time for the sprint race. We're going to go for the oldie but goodie, the mediums. You guys saw that I checked out the softs a bit. But that's not going to be an applicable strategy because, the softs are not going to last 10 laps around this track. And it's actually a bit more abrasive than on last year's game. So this is going to be a fresh new experience.
The formation lap gets underway ahead of today's sprint. It's going to be interesting to see who gets pole position. As all the cars take their positions on the grid, the final preparations have been made, and all that's left is for the drivers to deliver on track.
Norris, Stroll, Albon and Russell have gone for the softs. Are they pitting? Or are they going to see them through to the end? Because if they do, hats off to them. But Russell and Norris, they're going to be stupid fast these first 4 to 7 laps of this race. And then the medium runners are going to come into play. And Russell is right behind me. So this is going to be more than just interesting. But guys, as the cars are lined up on the grid for this sprint race right here in Miami, we head to the first 5 red lights of the weekend. And it's go, go, go for the Miami sprint race. As you guys can already see, Norris gets an absolutely incredible launch off the line as the extra bite from those soft tires give him an incredible launch. It's 3 wide between the Mercedes of Hamilton, one of the Ferraris, and the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso. Verstappen tries to hold it around the outside as Perez is bolting away in the lead. Norris side by side with the defending world champion. Into the next sequence of corners, Norris and Verstappen still side by side as Norris wants to make these softs work as quickly as possible and try to defend from these 2 Red Bulls. I'm almost certain he's aiming for Perez here. But now he's lost the slipstream effect from Perez's car, and Max is sitting pretty right underneath his rear wing as we head down this wobbly straight towards the next very tedious part of the track. Max goes to the inside, Norris on the outside as Perez leads us into this section. Norris just hangs it around the outside. The extra grip from those softs will be an advantage through here. And Norris slots in ahead of Verstappen as he's now chasing after Perez. With Hamilton P4, I think that's Leclerc in P5 and Alonso P6. With myself in P7? What happened here? I mean, okay, let's just take a look here. So Yuki started in P9, so he qualified P9 and SQ3. Albon and Russell get incredible launches, but the inside just gets left wide open. We're a bit late on the brakes and have to take to the sausage curb, so that gives Yuki and Sainz the opportunity to slot in front of us. And now we're in P10, and remember, only the top 8 positions get points for the sprint race. Into this next fast section, I have to say, this section of the track feels nice on this year's game. This little S section. But you guys can see Tsunoda on the outside and Sainz as well. They just are completely caught napping and stuck in the train. And we just slide it up the inside to get our RB into P8 for 1 singular point in the sprint race. And Stroll and Alonso are right ahead of us in the 2 Mercedes-powered Aston Martins. As we look at Hamilton and Leclerc battling in front of them, as Alonso decided to wait back a little bit. Stroll is completely caught off guard by his teammate braking earlier on those mediums. We send it up the inside, try and hang it around the outside, something Verstappen couldn't do against Norris, and we get ahead of Lance Stroll. And that is how we find ourselves in P7 for the sprint race. Alonso, Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris, and Perez ahead. But I think from here on, we're defending for these 2 measly points. We'll see what the RB's pace is. But guys, look at the Aston Martin in a straight line. Stroll just weaving aggressively behind me to try and get that Aston Martin to pass me. I stick my car right in the middle of the track to defend from him as Leclerc and Hamilton go side by side. Norris is starting to break away from Verstappen as he's trying to just hone in on Sergio Perez. But Hamilton is currently defending this P4 from Leclerc. But now it invites Alonso into the battle as we are still going side by side with Stroll. A little bit of a ghost glitch there as we head into T1. It actually didn't register on my screen like in gameplay. I only saw it on the replay cameras. But here we go. Stroll is adamant to get ahead of me on those soft tires, but we are defending vigorously against the Aston Martin, and still we are in P7. But this sprint race has kicked off in incredible fashion as Norris is already within a second of Perez, and DRS being activated on lap 2 is going to give Norris just more of an advantage. Verstappen has managed to stay within a second of Norris, so he's also going to have the DRS tow. So Norris is going to help Verstappen close up on his teammate as well. You guys can see myself, Sainz and Stroll battling over P7 as we defend from both of them, and Sainz tries to slide it up the inside of Lance Stroll. He actually manages to get the move done, heading into this awkward chicane. Sainz is now the car that I need to worry about, but through this tight section, I'm actually a bit quicker than the AI, and I close up right onto the gearbox of Fernando Alonso, but botch the exit a bit coming out from under the bridge as I get a bit of oversteer, and Alonso just pulls away with Hamilton as Leclerc actually got past Hamilton, and Norris and Perez have just made contact in the final corner as Norris is trying to take the lead here of the Miami sprint. On the main straight, heading into turn 1, Perez has got the DRS advantage now as the Red Bull is a straight line rocket ship with the minimal amount of drag that they've got on this car. Leclerc P4, Alonso P5, he's also gotten past Hamilton now as we are still in P7 now behind the 7-time world champion. You guys can see through this next section, I am actually fighting the car a bit as I am pushing so hard that I am literally on the ragged edge for these first 2 laps that have been completed. But now heading onto the back straight, well, the back wobbly straight. Here we go. Norris right behind Sergio Perez as Verstappen is also looming in the background, waiting for these 2 guys to maybe take each other out as they have already made contact, as you guys saw at the end of lap 2. Norris sweeps around the outside of the Red Bull. Beautiful move there from young Lando as he puts his McLaren into the lead. Insane start from Lando Norris. He qualified, what was it, P6, and by mid-lap 3, he is already leading the Miami sprint. If that's their race pace as well, McLaren are looking very juicy this weekend. As you guys can see that I accidentally take out the bollard there at the little awkward chicane. Luckily, no front wing damage was sustained as now we go once again onto the second back straight before we get to the main straight. You guys can see my ERS lights already blinking as I'm trying to save ERS while sitting in the DRS of Hamilton. Maybe it's thinking of a move heading into turn 1. As you guys can see, my turn in on the RB is incredible compared to the AI, but they again have the advantage on the exit. I went for a bit of a compromise setup on the rear because this car is not so good in a straight line. Heading into the next part, you guys can see I just managed to defend from Sainz, but lose out on the opportunity to go for Lewis Hamilton. We now look at a replay here of Verstappen as he's trying to make a move here on his teammate, and within a lap, Perez has gone from first to third as Verstappen just sweeps it up the inside. Norris is a bit of a blockade, but Verstappen has still got the advantageous inside line, and he is now ahead of his teammate. We go on to lap 4 onto the back straight, and now Verstappen wants a bit of revenge on Norris for that first lap insanity. No contact between these two, but I know Verstappen does not like being overtaken, and he now takes the lead of the Miami sprint. Alonso gets ahead of Leclerc as he might try to join that lead battle if the Aston Martin has got enough pace. We are sitting right behind George Russell, giving Russell a bit of a love tap there as Russell and Sainz got past me on the back straight as I just don't have the straight line speed right now to compete with these top cars. And now Yuki Tsunoda, our teammate, is right behind us. But Sainz is slow coming out of the awkward section under the bridge, and Sainz is slowing down. What has happened to Carlos Sainz's Ferrari? He's falling down. There has to be some sort of electronic or mechanical failure on that car. And now on the next lap, Verstappen is the next victim to suffer unreliability. The leader of the Miami sprint is crawling to a halt as Lando Norris takes back the lead with Perez chasing from behind. Alonso is now into a podium position with Leclerc and Hamilton chasing behind. And we are busy defending from our teammate and Pierre Gasly, who's gotten past Lance Stroll. But we look at this battle between the Aston Martin and the Ferrari as Alonso defends the inside against Leclerc. But Leclerc gets a beautiful exit coming out of the final corner hairpin. Who's going to have the DRS heading towards this next section? It is actually Alonso and Hamilton, but this main straight is so short, it's very hard to make a move heading into that section. We now jump to the mid part of lap 6. Guys, excuse the jump in the recording there. Again, nothing I can do about that. Even fancy editing cannot always save you. We pull towards the outside on Russell as me and him are still battling, and this is now for that's actually Yuki and Russell as I'm entwined in this battle for P6. That's 3 points. This is the last 3 points of that will be rewarded for this race is 6th, 7th, and 8th. We go around the outside of Russell through the little awkward chicane. Not really a side-by-side place, but we managed to make it work. But Yuki gets an incredible exit going under the bridge. And as we open DRS, we try to close up on our teammate, but we need to worry about that very bright silver and black Mercedes coming from behind. Into the final corner, we've got the confidence on the brakes, but do we have the confidence on the exit? As you guys can see, the car just doesn't want to behave itself. on the exit of that corner. Again, we will have Diori to defend from Russell, but he has saved up so much battery as we are busy just trying to get some battery back. Heading into the first corner, we go to the inside, defend from Russell, as we are just going to try and stay with Tsunoda here. But the rear end is really busy holding me back. And because Park Ferme is on, we cannot change our setup for the rest of this race weekend. To the outside of Russell, back to the inside, as even Gasly is now getting in on the juiciness of this battle. And there is still other drivers coming from behind, like this man in a very much a front-running car, Oscar Piastri, as now Tsunoda has bolted away, and we are battling with Gasly, Russell, and Piastri for those final 2 points paying positions in 7th and 8th. We actually managed to defend from Piastri, but we've lost out to Gasly and Russell, and now we need to hope and pray that we can have a good corner exit coming out of this wonky section to try and put Gasly and Russell under pressure. Otherwise, we can kiss those points goodbye. As soon as Yuki broke the 1 second, I had no hopes whatsoever to stick with my teammate. At this stage of the weekend, he has got the edge on me, and Yuki is looking strong this weekend. We now again look at Gasly, as he is still not close enough to Russell, but we make a last split-second decision to send it up the inside of the Frenchman, because that is one of our main rivals this season. Alpine are definitely a car that we need to watch as their upgrades are going to start rolling in. That car is going to become quicker and quicker, and if we can't actually maintain it to get to the front with the front runners, Alpine are going to be a big threat to come later this season. Now heading on towards the final lap of the sprint, it's absolutely flown by. Perez leads with 7/10 from Norris. Norris still has an opportunity here, but his time is running short. Alonso in a solid P3, as I see Leclerc's got front wing damage and is now under pressure from Hamilton. He might lose out to the Mercedes here. My teammate in a solid P6. Brilliant performance from Tsunoda as we are trying to defend from Russell for these last few, for the last half of the lap. Here we go. Hamilton towards the outside of Leclerc, heading into the wonky section. Hamilton hangs it around the outside, but we go back to our battle with Russell as he gets ahead of us, and that moves us out of the points. But Piastri is also still in this fight, and he got a slingshot with that McLaren. But up the inside we go, as we are just so confident on the brakes and the front end, and we get ourselves back up into P8. Yuki we're going to have another double point score for I almost said AlphaTauri. You guys heard that, right? For RB, it's not the points haul of the previous sprint race, but still double points in a sprint race for a team that's not in the top 4. This wants to be done. Excuse me, top 5. This wants to be done. Perez takes the victory for the sprint race as we're going to head into qualifying just after this. We defend from Piastri for one last time. Around the final corner, we manage P8, one singular point, but every point counts in this championship. P8 it is! Let's go!
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That is the plan, Mark. We are going to take care of this baby as good as we can. P8 for ourselves, P7 for Yuki, Perez with the win, Norris P2, and Alonso secures P3. Guys, that was honestly an epic sprint race, and it sets up qualifying and the main Grand Prix to be something of a sweet taste. What a race. Unfortunate for Sainz and Verstappen. Don't know what happened to Carlos Sainz. He finished, but something went wrong with that Ferrari, and Verstappen, unfortunately, is out of the sprint race. What is going to happen in qualifying? That will commence now.
Welcome back to Miami and welcome to qualifying. Only raw speed will separate these drivers today, but the question is, who's got what it takes to get pole?
Guys, we are into qualifying, and just like in sprint quali, the rain has arrived, but this time properly has the rain arrived. Our first run, our first few laps in Q1, the track was getting wetter as Q1 progressed, so I got out as soon as I could and just fueled the car up a bit to go for multiple laps. And now on this final lap, we actually go purple middle sector for this, and because it's raining, pole is anyone. It's an open goal now because the rain equals the cars even more than they are already equalized by the current set of regulations. So through the final corner, you guys can see now my rear end was definitely going to be a problem in these conditions because it's already wonky and now there's a lot less grip. but towards the line we go to the inside, and that is enough to put us all the way up into P2, 4 tenths behind Verstappen. Yuki is also into Q2 as he qualifies in P13, and it's looking good. Carlos Sainz almost fell out in qualifying as he's in P14, and Lando Norris was even closer, although the gap between 15th and 16th is half a second. But still, I think Lando and the car Lando, the two best friends, were very much in a bit of a panic state come the end of that Q1 session. We now head towards the start of Q2 as I'm back out on the same set of inters that I set my fastest lap on in Q1. And currently we are sitting P5. We got demoted to P6. By the end of the session, again, we have a massive improvement as now the track is getting drier and a dry line is starting to form. We actually go provisional pole by 3 thousandths of a second ahead of Verstappen. Yuki unfortunately falls out in Q2, so it's a role reversal from sprint quali, and the one driver that falls out in Q2 that is very, very bad for the Mercedes camp is Lewis Hamilton. There might be patterns starting to emerge why Mercedes approached me. Maybe they want to get rid of Lewis, because currently Georges is kind of spanking him in the drivers, even though it's only been 2 rounds. But Mercedes clearly have a plan here, and hopefully their plan does come to fruition. Whether it's me or another driver, they are definitely ready to start a silly season version of the career mode. But in any case, we now head towards our final lap in Q3 as we're using a third new set of intermediates. The race conditions seem to be a full dry race, so we could absolutely use all the inters we wanted, and this is a fresh set. So on the back straight, heading in towards this next corner, you guys can see I actually divert from the dry line because my inters were starting to overheat by the end of that first sector, so we had to go onto the water to cool them down a bit for this tricky, wonky middle part of the lap. Into this next section, very, very touchy chicane. You guys can see the car just wants to snap on me, but I'm keeping the oversteer under control right now. Short shift to third, underneath the bridge, open up the throttle, engage overtake mode, and let's go down this back straight again. Once again, we get a purple middle sector, as for some other reason, my setup is just absolutely amazing. In that very tight section, the car just wants to go through there. Into the final corner, very late onto the brakes, late apex to just miss clipping that curb. Through these final 2 S's, and we are going to qualify in P. No way. No way, Jose. We just kept going quicker and quicker in qualifying, and for some other reason, our setup works in the wet, not as well as, it doesn't work nearly as well in the dry. But 3rd race in a row? No, fam. Now, this was not AI glitchiness. This was just rain equalizes the field, and we were the best driver.
Well, it's no secret that F1 is booming in popularity right now in the USA. Today's race, one of 3 in the United States, is a testament to that. It's time for the Miami Grand Prix. Sitting at the southeastern coast of Florida, the Miami International Autodrome has 19 corners and 3.36 miles of racing. It's a circuit designed to encourage close racing while meeting the highest safety standards. Either way, I'm sure it's one that will please the fans. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. O'Connor lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Sainz, Norris, Hamilton, Albon, Ocon, Tsunoda, Gasly, Leclerc, Sargent, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, and Zhou Guanyu. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me today, a man small in stature but big on comment, Anthony Davidson. Hello. Now, Ant, you know us. Professionals as we are, we don't listen to rumours all the time, just some of the time. And in the case of this driver, I think we were right to listen to those rumours because they were true.
Seems like the rumours are true, Crofty. Now, the good thing is for the driver that if you've potentially signed or had chats with a team that are going to further your career, that's all well and good. But the problem it immediately creates within your own team now is that potentially the team stop giving you inside information, and therefore you're not privy to that knowledge of where the car's going in terms of its future development.
I really hope the commentators were not speaking about little old me with the Mercedes meetup. This is F1, so I mean, paparazzi is a thing. And if somebody caught a quick snap of the Mercedes gentleman at the RB headquarters, yeah, we might have a problem. A big one.
As the formation lap gets underway here in Miami, the drivers will be wanting to leave a lasting impression on the thousands of fans who flocked to today's race. The anticipation is certainly rising, and everyone is hoping for a fantastic and memorable Grand Prix. So as all the cars reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
Whether they were talking about us or not, we can't focus on that right now because we've got a very, very important pole position with a short run to turn one. We can defend this and maybe come away today with an absolute ton of points that will make RB smile all the way back to headquarters. So we need to knuckle down and we need to focus now. It is time for the 5 red lights here at Miami. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's go, go, go for the Miami Grand Prix. The main event is underway here in Miami as we are already defending the inside. We are under attack from the outside and the inside by both the Red Bulls. Alonso and Russell going side by side behind the Red Bulls as we have defended the lead successfully heading into the first few corners. And we are away in the lead. The 2 Red Bulls scrapping away. I'm not certain who got ahead of the other. But Russell and Alonso are still battling with Lando Norris right behind them. As oh my word, these top 5 teams, they are all so close together. Leclerc unfortunately started a bit more back because I don't know why. Sainz had the car that had a problem in the sprint race, but yet Leclerc got a penalty. Not exactly certain how that works. You guys can see the 2 Red Bulls. It was actually Perez who got ahead of Verstappen, but they are both very adamant to get ahead of their junior sister team. Into this next corner, we just defend as we slide through the middle of the Red Bull sandwich, and we are ahead of Verstappen and Perez. He got ahead of Perez now. So it's myself, Verstappen, Perez, Alonso, Russell, Piastri, Sainz, Stroll, Hamilton, and Lando Norris rounds out your top 10. Guys, here's someone that you have to keep an eye on. Pierre Gasly has started this race on the soft tires. He might have taken a bit of inspiration of what I did back in China, because he's going to have a very short first stint and then probably run mediums on a 2-stop till the end of the race. So keep an eye on that Alpine, because the undercut on this year's game is immensely strong, and that Alpine is not a slow car. All the cars here have got points achieving a potential, but it doesn't. The top teams are so strong and consistent, it just makes that so much harder. But don't throw Pierre Gasly away. Keep an eye on that car, because he's the only car that started on the soft tires. I'm following what the leaders are doing, medium to hards, to see if we can actually take those tires on a 1-stop till the end of the Grand Prix and just see what happens. Let's just scope out the scenery. But the best way for me to actually secure proper points, hopefully a top 5 if it's even possible, is to follow what the leaders are doing, because what they're going to be doing will probably work. So we're sticking our neck out a bit, but here we go. The two Red Bulls, the 2 Perez's. Wow. Wonderful turbo. The two Red Bulls with DRS activated on lap 2 got past us on the straight, but we've saved up our battery to sit in their slipstream and run at the same speed as they did. As Perez now gets back ahead of Verstappen as he actually wanted the lead. But again, we are the leading car ahead of Perez, Verstappen, Alonso, and Russell. That rounds out your top 5. The two McLarens still look very pacey. Sainz in the Ferrari is always going to be pacey with Leclerc coming from behind. And clearly, the Aston is looking good because Alonso is sitting P4 and Stroll can still make something work here. Here we go. Perez up the inside of the final corner. Will we be able to defend from the Red Bull driver? Through this next section, we just keep it on the inside and keep it ahead of Perez, as I think we will now have the DRS heading towards the T1, which we did. Verstappen, though, makes his teammate look like a sitting duck. He sends it up the inside of the short main straight, and Verstappen slots in ahead of Perez, as now Alonso, Russell, Piastri, Sainz, Stroll, and further back have been brought into this little battle. Also, Lando Norris and Piastri have started on the hard tires. They are going to go for the overcut strategy, which I don't think is going to work, but I think they are going to be the two fastest cars on track come the end of this race. So don't count out the McLarens just yet. They are on the contrast strategy to the top 5. So keep an eye on those two papaya green machines. Here we go again, back straight. We have Verstappen and Perez are absolutely hounding my little RB. And again, Verstappen goes around the outside but leaves the inside completely open, just doesn't cover it up. And with us still having a lot of confidence on the brakes, we are able to defend our position reasonably comfortably. But we don't know how long this is going to last, because when tire wear starts to be a factor, I think the AI, especially these cars that are much faster with better tire wear upgrades as default for their cars, it's going to just get harder and harder to defend. But as long as we can, we are going to try and defend this P1, because again, there is a lot of points for grabs on the table here today. This could be our best finish of the career mode so far when it comes to the main Grand Prix. Here we go. Verstappen again. I defend the inside, stick it to the middle of the track. Verstappen tries it around the outside. He has a look, but backs out of it as he sees that was not going to be a viable move. Leclerc sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as we head on to lap 4, as he is currently busy battling with the mid-pack to try and get that Ferrari into the correct position. My teammate Tsunoda is currently sitting P14 as we now commence to lap 5, and Perez and Verstappen are doing everything, well, anything and everything to get ahead of this RB. And now Fernando Alonso has joined the fight as it's nearly 3 wide heading into the next corner, but Alonso decides to stick behind the Red Bulls, and that opens him up to be repassed by myself. As Verstappen and Perez are side by side for this next section, we do the exact same to Perez, to Verstappen, that were in the same manner that we did to Russell in the sprint, and we are back up into P2, still within DRS. And as long as I can stick within DRS, I am okay. But as soon as I lose that DRS detection, I am going to be under massive, massive pressure from all those cars you guys see in that little train there before there's the split. That is the divide here at Miami. So all the way down to Lance Stroll is the divide. So we are. Did Mark just talk on the replay cameras? I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of cool. New feature, I like it. I very much like it. In any case, back to this ferocious battle at the front. Again, Verstappen, Perez. But Alonso is still here. Alonso wants a win here today, that Aston Martin. Full wide heading into this next part. It's not going to fit, gent. It's not going to fit. Alonso bounces over the inside sausage curve. The two Red Bulls side by side. Slight contact between them for a split second there. And that enables us to, again, just slide through the middle of the... or I don't even know what to call that. The Red Bull... /Red Bull /Aston Martin sandwich. But here we go. We come towards the end of lap 8 and the start of lap 9. And P.A. Gasly is in. Going on to a second set of softs? Is Gasly doing soft mediums? Because if that is the case, that Alpine is going to be flying. He's last now, but he is in nothing but clean air. Doesn't have to worry about tires overheating or degrading faster. He can now push like an absolute stab rat. Oh my goodness gracious me. What on earth just happened there? We have a massive tank slap and almost caused an absolute aeroplane crash between ourselves and the two Red Bull cars. How did all of us get through there in one piece? Guys, the slow-mo shows, I actually went onto the blue I don't know what you call it, the blue paint off track, and that just sends my car into an absolute half spin that I don't know how I catch, but I almost take out Perez. He had to jump onto the brakes, and in typical Max Verstappen fashion, he doesn't know what a brake pedal is and just sends it through on the inside. We are side by side with Perez through the S's, but defend from the Mexican. And now, oh my word, I don't know how that did not end in an absolute aeroplane crash, because that was the perfect recipe for an aeroplane crash. But kudos to all three of us, myself and the two Red Bulls, for not all ending up with a DNF there. Because if the commentators were referencing me at the start of this Grand Prix, well, just before the start of this Grand Prix, and I take out my senior sister team's cars, both of them, yeah, I don't think RB or Red Bull were going to be impressed at all with me. But the accident has been avoided, so let's move forward. Again, you can see on the back straight, I actually don't realize the closing speed of Perez, and I block him there, but unintentionally block him. I did not realize the closing speed of Perez, as I was solely focused on Verstappen, which was a mistake on my side. But it's all good. On the main straight again, Verstappen seems to have taken the lead now, and he might even keep it now. And Verstappen is now leading the Miami Grand Prix, with Perez following close by, and Alonso and Russell not far behind him. This whole front train is still a massive factor in this race, and it's growing as because I'm defending constantly, there isn't a solid pace. The pace differs the whole time because I am the cork in the bottle. So everybody that gets past me uncorks the bottle and just shoots off. I now again am holding everybody back. So a lot of the more back marker cars are joining the train. So I'm not making my situation any easier on anybody. As again, Verstappen just leaves the inside wide open. And I'm going to be honest, guys, I missed my braking spot there and realized it's send it to the inside or absolutely send Verstappen to Narnia. And after a sprint race DNF, and again, we are racing under the same brand, I don't think that would have gone all very nicely. So even though that was a bit sketchy, we sent it due to a missed braking zone. So don't judge me. That was not aggressive. That was me being stupid. In any case, so by a pure accident, we are back into the lead of this Miami Grand Prix. But it is now time for our pit stop as Verstappen follows us into the pit lane. And Perez stays out, as the two Red Bulls would not have been able to double stack without one of them losing a lot of time. Will we come out ahead of Verstappen though? That is the big question. Come on, RB Pit Crew, we do not need mistakes now.
Come on. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Thank you very much, Mark. It is now time to see what this RB can do. And Alonso has jumped Verstappen in the pit lane. So Verstappen must have been held up by other cars entering the pit lane, as their pit box is the very first one. So cars joining the pit lane are going to hit the Red Bull pit crew first. So Verstappen definitely got held up there, and that gives me a bit of a breathing chance, as I've got a gap now between myself, Alonso, and Verstappen. And it's a 2.5 second gap. I need to use these 2.5 seconds to the best of my capabilities and hope and pray Verstappen and Alonso get battling. The drivers that haven't pitted yet are of the front runners are Perez, Russell, Piastri, Sainz, Norris, and Stroll. Behind Stroll, we don't really much have to keep an eye out for them now. But as you guys can see, Gasly in P11 is 2.7 seconds away from Zhou. He's bridged the gap. I'm telling you guys now, Gasly might be a problem at the end of this race. Don't take your eyes off of that Alpine, because I was worried about him this whole race, because I saw on the race start sequence, he's the only one on the softs, and he's flying. He was flying, he was setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Gasly was wanting big points. I think they are trying to capitalize on the fact that we are the cork in the bottle. So we'll have to see what happens here. But the two McLarens on their hard tires are staying out even longer. My teammate Tsunoda also started on the hard. So oh my goodness gracious me, Fernando Alonso You've got big cojones, my guy. He almost absolutely rips off George Russell's front wing to try and get in right behind Perez, who's going to be struggling to warm up those hard tires. The rest of us who pitted a lap earlier have already got heat into our tires, so we do have more grip. But Alonso now might make Perez look like a sitting duck. The gap between myself and Perez is 2.2 seconds. They are catching me most definitely. But as long as I can stay outside of their DRS, as long as they can stay outside of my DRS, as long as I can keep them out, this is going good. And this is exactly what I need. I need Alonso, Russell, Verstappen, Hamilton. I need all these guys to get into a massive battle, because that's just going to help me tenfold as Perez stays ahead of Alonso. But the Spaniard doesn't seem to be letting up, as he is still tucked up right underneath the rear wing of that Red Bull and smelling the gearbox oil from that Honda engine. Oh no, come on! I just start to hype up Fernando Alonso. And what does the game decide? Nah, man, we're going to make him DNF. We're just going to make him DNF. That is the easier way. If that's not the commentator's curse, I do not know what is. And Ocon has got zero spatial awareness and just absolutely obliterates his front wing while obliterating Alonso's rear wing and rear diffuser. Alonso is out in any case, but point being is Ocon just ruined his race. So Alpine are solely left with Gasly now, and he's currently P4. He's P4 ahead of me. So now, okay, he's going to come in for his second stop now. So Gasly is in along with Oscar. No, he's actually the only car that's in. Norris is in as well. Norris boxed as well. So I go back up into P2. And Tsunoda, Gasly, and Norris pitted. Piastri is the only car that hasn't pitted yet. So Piastri's mediums are going to be the definition of super fresh as he comes out of the pit lane. I do not know what's going to happen. There is still 13 laps to go, and I have got no cooking clue who's going to be my biggest threat. Currently, it's the Red Bulls and the two Mercs. But Norris on fresh mediums and Piastri, who's going to be on even fresher mediums, yeah, we're going to have a very action-packed finish to this race. End lap 17, Piastri's into the pit lane. And guys, I don't know if you guys paid attention there. I hope you did. Alpine put Gasly on the hards. Why? I do not understand. Because Piastri and Norris can easily take the mediums to the end. And I'm sure the Alpine would be able to do so as well. Unless Gasly had no fresh mediums left. Not just that one Alpine driver screwed themselves, the team screwed the other driver. So Alpine are officially scratched from this race, so we no longer have to worry about Alpine. And now Oscar Piastri comes out of the pit lane in P9 behind Carlos Sainz. But by the end of that exact lap, or by the end of his out lap, he's already on the back of Carlos Sainz. Heading into turn 1, Piastri with the grip advantage. Oh no, my word, Sainz is round! Sainz is round! Sainz makes the same mistake that Alonso made back in China in the sprint race and just spins the car and ruins his race. And it's an easy move for Piastri, obviously, but I mean, seriously, the Ferrari were looking strong in the hands of Sainz, and he was within this leading group. And now it has all gone away. Leclerc's not even in the points yet. And now Sainz is down to P18. So it's a day to forget for the Scuderia. As finally Perez has caught up to myself. And me and him are now battling. And guys, by this stage of the race, I very quickly realized it's lap 20. There's a win on offer here. There is a win on offer here. And can we have the best ever rookie season start in Formula 1, like even surpassing Lewis Hamilton's 2007 debut? Because it took Lewis longer than 3 races to win, and he was not in a midfield car. He was in a front-running McLaren. So I was very adamant to be like, yeah, let's try this. So it's myself and Perez once again. Russell and Verstappen are still coming from behind. Currently, it's just myself and Perez. But if we keep battling like this, they're going to catch up to us a lot quicker than we realize. But at this stage, I was not concerned about them. I just wanted to stay ahead of this Red Bull. Because, again, there's a potential win on offer here. And it's not something that I want to shy away from. We've got yellow flags in the final sector, as it looks like one of the Ferrari dots are slowing down. You've got to be kidding me. Leclerc, who took new engine components and took a penalty, is the car retiring. How is this even possible? Ferrari, just pack it up, go home, go to the next Grand Prix so long, because yeah, this race is going Williams, no, not even Williams, it's going Kick Sauber fashion for you guys. As there you guys see, next to Leclerc's name is the DNF. I do not know what to say. I am speechless. Sainz has a problem in the sprint. Leclerc DNFs in the main race, and Sainz just fumbles the ball in the main race. Oh my great googly moogly. Ferrari, yeah, there is, I wish I could be a fly on the wall in that debrief. Oh my goodness gracious me, Drive to Survive are licking their lips for this Ferrari blunder. Here we go. Again, it is now the end of, we're heading towards the end of lap 21. It is still myself and Perez, and Russell and Hamilton are giving Verstappen such a tough time to catch up to the back of us as they are battling with him. Perez actually tries to give me a bit of a squeeze to the wall there, heading into the final corner. So Perez is getting aggressive as he's just trying to stay ahead of me, but every time it seems that I have an answer to his offense with some form of defense, as we do now. Just beautiful into the first corner, no contact made whatsoever. We just send it up the inside of Checo Perez, and ooh, a little bit of a snap there. We don't need another one of those moments at that corner, Turbo. We saw what happened with the other one. Ooh, I don't think we're gonna be lucky twice. I do not think we're gonna be lucky twice. But again, we are ahead of Perez. And guys, one thing that I realized, the more the weight of the car dropped as the fuel burned off, the more confident I got on the brakes. I was already super confident on my brakes already, but the more the fuel just went out of the car, the more confidence I gained. The brakes, the way I set up the car was so advantageous towards the way I brake into corners. That is why I could go for these insane defensive dive bombs without the mistakes that I've already mentioned. But other than that, I can just send it and the car's gonna stick. So I was enjoying my setup for the braking aspect of this Grand Prix, as it's lap 24 and we are not sitting in like P14 trying to battle into the points. We are actually battling for a win, not on pace, on good qualifying in the wet conditions. Let's just put it that way. But you guys can see now Verstappen has got ahead of Perez, but when Verstappen closed up, he brought the two Mercs with him, as well as the two McLarens. Oh my goodness, it is now here at this point of the race where it's gonna get beyond juicy. Let's see what happens. Verstappen gets ahead of us, heading into the final corner. So it's Verstappen, myself, Perez, Russell, Hamilton, Norris, Piastri, Stroll, Tsunoda, and Albon that locks out your top 10. You guys can see him. This is where I knew it was the last straw to break the camel's back. As soon as Perez battled me into the first corner, it gave Verstappen that big enough gap to start breaking away. And it was right there where I knew the win was gone. Perez absolutely dumped his battery coming out of the first three corners and just slingshots past us. But he doesn't have DRS on his teammate now, and we have DRS on him. And we've saved up some battery. So it's not just us that he has to worry about now. There's two Mercs and two McLarens coming very fast and very aggressively from behind. Here we go. Overtake was engaged, but DRS beautifully to the outside as Russell can't get close enough. A little bit of a wheel bang there between myself and Perez, but nothing major, no damage sustained. Just again, Perez and I are having a little bit of a high-speed chess fist fight, as yeah, I think he's tired of the dive bombs, and you know, he made that very apparent with his attempted block into the final corner. And now we're just having a bit of a ding-dong, myself and Perez, as you know, if Mercedes want us, and if Red Bull actually see potential in us and then they want to keep us, there might be a counter offer, and it could be for Perez's seat. You never know. You never know. This new feature in the game, I am so excited to see how this plays out, because I think it's gonna be stupendous. We've already got one big team interested. What is the rest of the process gonna look like? What sequence has now started? I am so excited. But you guys can see Perez gets past us on the back straight. We actually had to defend from Hamilton there, as Russell lost out to Hamilton and to Norris, and is now under pressure from the second McLaren, who's on the freshest tires on this entire grid. Piastri is flying. And he is properly flying. That I can say with a lot of confidence. Piastri is flying. But now again, Verstappen has absolutely bolted. If he loses this race now, it's either going to be from a failure or he's going to bottle it. But knowing Verstappen, if it's not a mechanical or electronical failure, he's winning. We just need to try and secure this P2 as we are still within the mix here. As you guys can see, again, a massive dive bomb up the inside of Perez. And I don't understand the AI. Like, just start placing your car in different defensive positions so that I can't go for those dive bombs. But every time they're going to leave the door open, I'm going to send it. And we're on the penultimate lap, and we're still battling for P2 as there's a massive tank slapper heading through that windy left-hander. And again, we're ahead of Perez, but I think this was the mistake. I should have been behind him at this stage, because now I'm a sitting duck without DRS from both the McLarens, both the Mercedes, and the second Red Bull of Sergio Perez. Look at the absolute chaos heading into this next corner. Perez again leaves the outside wide open. We slide through the middle of the Mercedes-McLaren sandwich, and again we are ahead of Perez, but it unsettles him so much that Hamilton is trying to follow me through into P3. And he does that successfully, as it's now a Red Bull P1, an RB P2, and a Mercedes P3. And Russell, Norris, and Piastri have not given up on this fight. We now take a quick look at Verstappen as he's going to round the final corner for the penultimate time to start the final lap of this absolutely insane Miami Grand Prix. Again, just like China, from the intro, probably to the outro, it was absolute chaos and nothing but entertainment, guys. Remember to drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds. Heading on to the final lap, you guys can see I go for a super defensive line, move back to the racing line to make sure Lewis can't send it up my inside. I just wanted to try and break slipstream here. So on the straight, I was going to go out of the normal racing line just so that I could keep them out of my slipstream. Lewis tries to send it around the outside, heading into the S section, but compromises his line into the next part. We now head onto the back windy straight, the first of 2 back straights for the final time for this first season in Miami. Hamilton coming with absolute ferocity from behind. Perez is still there. Russell and the 2 McLarens are looming in the background to see if there's going to be any drama. 3 wide between myself, Hamilton, and Perez. We just absolutely keep it on the outside to leave them as much room as possible. Perez could not get the inside move done on Hamilton. He's still P3. And guys, through this little section where I knew I was the quickest, you guys can see I am risking it for the chocolate biscuit, because I knew this is P2, but there's still 1 straight and DRS zone left. 3/4 of a second to Lewis Hamilton. We're going to dump almost all of our battery possible. We pull out of the normal racing line. We'll pull away from it to break the slipstream of Hamilton. And that must be the move that seals the deal for us here in Miami. It's been a good season so far, but this is the high point. 3 rounds in, and we've got our first podium!
Top job, mate. Top job. Yes. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but man, you pulled through. Thank you. Well done.
And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen. He takes victory.
To witness such mastery of these conditions, these changeable conditions that we saw today, is very impressive indeed. So a huge congratulations to this driver for taking victory today.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
I'm going to give Verstappen his roses. He made an absolutely insane move stick on me. And that move that he made on the outside when I had my moment and almost took out his teammate, which if I did take out his teammate, it probably would have taken him out as well. He just put his foot on the throttle and said, I'm not lifting until I see God or the checkered flag. And he saw the checkered flag. Well done to Verstappen. Hamilton gets P3. He steals it from Perez. And we take a P2. I don't care what the rumors are. And again, if that was referencing us. But this looks fantastic. on a resume. Point in the sprint, P2 in the main race after qualifying on pole position. We don't do a Hamilton. It was close, but no cigar. Guys, Yuki also gets into the points from P13 to P9. RB are looking good for the start of this season, man. We are really looking good. But guys, I'm gonna end it off quickly, you guys. It's been a long episode, and I'm running out of editing time. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Don't forget to drop a like down below on the video. It's only gonna take you 2 seconds. Go check out the links in the description down below, especially the second content page. And if you are not yet subscribed after an insane video like this, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future video, short, or live stream here on Turbo Fox Racers. Remember, your mind has got to be stronger than your feelings. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next video. Cheers!